We don't do any advertising. We don't have to.
Park Supervisor Jim Wilson manages one of the most well-known attractions in Florida, attracting 3.2 million visitors in 2009.
Most people know Fort Desoto for its pristine beaches and beautiful landscape. But there's another side to Fort Desoto that takes place behind the scenes. It's the maintenance.
Looks like it's been a while since that's happened.
Yes, it does.
We used to have a fleet mechanic that was stationed here for, our rolling stock and small engines, and now we get a mechanic, once a week for a couple hours. It's a matter of scaling down operations and trying to be as functional as possible with the limited resources that we have.
And that's where 71-year-old volunteer Gary Schwach comes in. Gary is a retired seasonal resident with a lot of work and life experience behind him. Now on weekday mornings, you'll find him repairing a chainsaw or a small engine in one of the maintenance sheds on Bonnie Fortune Key.
It's a challenge because many times you don't have a clue what's. So I have a series, so you start, does it have a spark? Is it getting gas?
It's a skill he picked up during his 45 years tree trimming in his home state of Michigan.
I started as a tree trimmer for the city of Detroit. And just after I started with the city of Detroit is when the Dutch elm disease hit Detroit. In a period of 10 years, we cut down 500,000 elm trees.
Gary ended up starting his own tree trimming business, moving to Cadillac in the process. And being in the business of tree trimming all those years might be why he has such a love of natural places, especially Fort Desoto, and why he volunteers.
With my job, I traveled everywhere, including Europe, all over the United States. I've never seen a park as nice as Fort Desoto. If you come here in the evening, there are raccoons everywhere. It's just a special place for me.
The job and the traveling Gary referred to was during his second career. He did indeed have a lot of work and life experiences behind him. He had decided to hang up the chainsaw in 1971, though he continued trimming trees as a volunteer for friends and neighbors, really anyone who asked. It was then that Gary took a job as an hourly worker with a company that built restraint systems for cargo on military aircraft, eventually working his way up to president. That's right, president of a subsidiary of a New York Stock Exchange traded company. Then life gave him a new experience.
11 years ago, I had a real serious bout of cancer. And I ended up in the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. I was there for 14 weeks, and they were going to do surgery on my lungs. And the doctor said, if I don't do surgery, you got less than 2 weeks. If I do surgery, you're so weak, you'll probably die on a table.
I'm wondering, that's the cover we're talking about, right?
Yes, it is. So the surgery worked. They've used some experimental stuff on me that actually saved my life. So it was. So part of my volunteering has been, giving back. I figure I've been on a gifted time ever since then.
And the staff at Fort Desoto has been given the gift of Gary Schwach.
We have a lot of dedicated folks that realize that the volunteers are not here to take their jobs, but to help them succeed.
But now you're a part of Fort Desoto.
Absolutely. I intend to stay a part of Fort Desoto. I already told them I can't wait to come back to volunteer again next year. They told me they could use me in the summertime if I want to come back.
Sounds like Gary has a lot more work and life experiences in front of him. From Fort Desoto, I'm Libby Bowling for Inside Pinellas.
That's a dull chain.